I'm Tom Veal. I'm Senior Vice President of Editorial with Information Security Media Group. I want to welcome you to this discussion where the topic is about future-proofing the Security Operations Center. I've got two esteemed panelists joining me today. They are Siva VRS, VP and Technology Practices Business Unit Head with Wipro, and I have got Rashmi Vikram, VP, GSI and Partner Ecosystem with Palo Alto Networks. Rashmi, Siva, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Tom.
So first question I have for the two of you, I want to start with the big picture. What are the most pressing problems that you see today's SOC struggle to solve? And I'm thinking mostly about where greater automation could help them solve those problems.
Today's Security Operations Center have some serious security problems. You know, there's one of the biggest is the alert fatigue. SOCs have a confusing mix of different tools. It creates a flood of alerts. This leads to burnout of analysts and delay in responding to real threats. Attacks are happening at much faster speed than the old methods are not able to keep up. Over the years, we see the infiltration to exfiltration time as reduced from weeks to days. Typically, in an attack, by the time attack happens, analysts are able to figure out the alerts, attack has already happened and damage is already done. What we need for this is SOC needs an advanced AI and automation platform, which requires a more proactive approach than a reactive approach. This would bring all tools and data together to give real-time insights and help analysts respond at a machine speed to prevent breaches before it actually happens.
Well, I've got to ask you then, what are the biggest barriers preventing a traditional SOC from transforming into what you would consider to be a next-gen AI-powered operation? And when you talk about hyper automation, what do you mean?
The point with which Rashmi made is so valid, right? And that's not a problem of now. That is a problem which has been there for long. That is multiple tool sets, right? Are they working cohesively? Independently, they might be great. Are they working cohesively, right? I'll give you some statistics, right? Today, an enterprise has got close to 50 to 80 plus tool sets currently, right? And Wipro's State of Cybersecurity report, which we usually do it's been done for many years now, where we go to the industry leaders to get their opinions as well. And what they are saying is actually really positive. They're saying 93% of the organizations are now taking some steps to bring in these automations, right? That is where, as Rashmi said, Palo Alto's product set, XSIAM, plays very crucial role. Because when you look at Palo Alto strategy as well, it's a complete platformization as a strategy. You can have security monitoring, threat intelligence, SOAR, all tied up together. And the latest investment which they have done on CyberArk is the identity angle put together. So how does this benefit? The problem statement which I started with, multiple tool sets, can they platformized into a single platform, single vendor, then they work cohesively. That actually helps in terms of tying together and working together the product sets, right? That is first part. But that is just one part of it. The technology plays one part. Another big area is about a consulting and advising company or a system integration company like Wipro. How does it help a customer take them through this particular journey, right? And we bring in our frameworks and the entire Cyber Shield as a solution which we have built over the decades, which actually helps in tying up all these platforms and solutions together, as well as taking care of the operations cohesively into a single pane of glass, addressing all the problem areas which actually Rashmi was alluding to. That is how it gets addressed as well. So I did answer both parts of your question. One is about what are the challenges and how are we addressing as well. Yeah.
Now I've got to follow up with you. I'm sorry, Rashmi, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest problem is resistance to change for the customers as well as managed services providers to move from, because they have tools, isn't it, Siva, which they got used to and they've been trained on. It's not easy for them to kind of transform or transition to a new platform. I think that's also one of the biggest challenges. And that's where I think managed services providers like Wipro come into place to help customers to move to these most advanced, sophisticated platforms. And also in terms of staff, people, resources, which they struggle, managed services providers like Wipro can easily provide it.
Now, at times when organizations are struggling for budget, what would you say is the ROI justification for making such an investment in the SOC?
The main selling point we typically use, especially for the companies which have very tight budget, and that's what all the time they talk about. They will save huge amount of money if they leverage platforms like Cortex XIM. Prevention first approach. As you know, Shiva spoke about or alluded to some of these points, that average cost of the breach is around 5 million to 10 million. So this itself is a huge saving in cost if they adopt platforms. We are 100% efficient in preventing the breaches. And we have used it in various customer places as well as at Palo Alto Security Center. And also a single unified platform. As Siva mentioned, instead of using so many different tools, you are unifying most of these tools, whether it is EDR, SIM, SOAR, threat intel, exposure management, into one single unified platform. So that itself is a running cost of these different tools in one single platform itself is a huge saving in cost. The third one is, while we are leveraging AI to AI-enabled operations, helping analysts to make much more efficient, because AI is helping them to address most of these tasks, which are heavy on complex data, and it's very difficult for human to work at that speed. That's helping them, and hence the operating cost or the efficiency of analysts is increasing way above 75%, right? And also helping them to reduce the response time by 90% or over 90%.
Oh, well said. Siva, do you want to add to that?
So it's interesting point and about budgets, right? If we are all saying the budget for security is going to increase, I think it's absolutely, we are living in a different world. What is happening is today, while organizations are cutting on budget, they're also saying automate more, right? Automate more, and thus bring in cost efficiencies of scale. Automation can be AI, can be hyper automation, any one of those particular parameters. So you look at how to take out costs, plow it back in terms of increasing your defense in depth strategies, right? That is where customers are moving towards, and that's what we see in the industry as well. And I'll give you a case in point, Tom, just to share. Wipro by itself has implemented a single platform strategy with Palo's entire XSIM and the entire suite of products. The benefits of implementing that is we reduced our alerts by 50%. We reduced the overall alerts by 50%. As well, we reduced our cost expenditure approximately around 35% year on year. And Wipro is a large organization by itself, 250,000 people spread across 50 plus countries and so on and so forth, right? So that is the kind of benefits we ourselves have seen it. And when we go to our customers to talk about it, it becomes an eye-opener.
I want to talk a little bit about KPIs, if I can, with this new SOC. Would you say that mean time to detect or respond is the key metric we should use, or is there something else we should be looking at altogether?
So if you actually look at, the world is all talking about AI, hyper-automation, agentic AI, and so on, right? How do you measure this? We are talking about virtual assistants, right? And how do you measure it? Fundamentally, there is going to be two tracks of paths which one needs to measure on. The first track is surely about reducing your threat exposure, right? So that means how fast are you detecting a potential threat and how fast are you responding to it? that directly shoots the point in terms of that particular aspect, right? But the next big aspect is about what I spoke to you as well. Any process to detect and automate the threat vectors should start not only from the tools perspectives, where we bring all of them into a single platform. Palo is the industry leader in that aspect, get all of them and get them to work together. That is one part of it. But the next most important part is about people who are actually delivering that, the operations part of it. One has to standardize their L1 and L2 operations. Unless you standardize the L1 and L2, you cannot bring the notches of automation on top of it. So fundamentally, once you get the automation up, you're reducing cost. When I'm saying reducing cost, please don't take it in another way. You're not going to replace all human. It is not the case. Human will be there. People can talk about autonomous SOC, but autonomous SOC does not mean no human being and it's just all the tools working together. That's not the end state which is going to be. Number of people reduce, automate, and the people whom we are reducing move up the ladder to increase the so-called depth, right? Defense and depth strategy as well, right? So two tracks. One is about look at platformization and reduce your overall cost. Look at threat vectors. That is about mean time to detect and respond. Another one is about overall cost takeout as a strategy. This is what customers need to measure in terms of their journey into AI.
Very well said. Rashmi, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, as he said, that bringing everything together is key for making SOC efficient, right? How to reduce high cost of operations. So instead of having a clustered set of tools together, and making analyst, as he said, that analyst has to be provided with real-time insights. So this will help them to detect and respond faster. So the platforms like XIM will help them to provide real-time insights for analysts to take actions really, really faster. As I said, using XIM, there are real claims, not just a claim, there are real data where it says that it's increased the efficiency of analysts by 75% and increasing the response time by 90%.
So Rashmi, you've emphasized the benefits of using a unified platform. Why is consolidation so important for SOC efficiency, and where does that leave the best of breed solutions?
Good question, Tom. Best of breed solutions are good on their own, but do you think that these best of breed solution, with so many tools we have, as I mentioned in the beginning, we will have the same set of problems what we discussed till date: alert fatigue, too many alerts, flood of alerts, too many tools, cost of operations. Analysts are struggling to manage these many alerts because while they are sorting out all through these alerts, we miss out on real breaches. So we need to kind of avoid these breaches before they are happening. So we need a platform which has a consolidation approach or a platformization approach, which will reduce the high cost of operations which are there today. And also not just saving money, but also help boost the productivity of the platform, right? So, or productivity of the analyst. This is what we are looking at. And partners like Wipro are bringing their capability and people and knowing these platforms, helping customers to focus on their business while they help customers to use this unified approach to deliver better.
Very good. Ziva, for you, despite all the talk and enthusiasm about AI, as you know, the well-publicized flaws have impacted adoption for many organizations. My question is, how do you build trust in AI-driven incident response? And can you maybe explain a bit more how AI is being used to improve threat detection accuracy?
So let me step back. Yes, everybody's talking about AI or hyper automation and or agentic and Gen AI, right? People are all talking about it. Yes, customers are looking into it and they are taking steps into it. But I would say one has to just sit back and look at how should this be approached to build a trust model, right? So when people go talk to or customer saying an autonomous SOC. It's good to hear and talk about it, but it creates a fear factor. And how do you mitigate that particular fear factor? First thing is look at the customer's entire set of use cases which they want to automate, which has got a business outcome and a business priority. Once you list down all these particular use cases, do a phase-wise approach in terms of which are low-risk use cases which can be implemented. It's all about, it's not like a light on and off switch kind of a scenario. Today is a SOC run with people, multiple tools. Tomorrow it's all automated. No, that's not the case. It's a journey. AI is a journey, and one needs to go in that particular journey. So where I'm coming from is the first step of trust is to take the fear factor out and start showing your return of investments from small to mid-size to a large benefits, right? So do a phase-wise approach in terms of use cases definition. The next step is about your tools consolidation, right? Look at how you can consolidate. Spoken enough about it, consolidate and take care of it. The important point is the question, your earlier question about best of the breed. See, in an organization, you can take a maximum number of tools to a single platform strategy, but you cannot take all whatever they have, right? So there should be a thumb rule of 80-20. What is your top 80%? Can that get consolidated into a platformization strategy? And the rest 20% exists, right? Having said about it, today Palo addresses this 80% chunk to take the fear factor out of the customer. That is the second step in terms of the trust building. But this 20% is also a threat vector which is open. So that is where Wipro comes in with our framework, which is well received in the market, which is called a SOC Guru framework, and Cyber Shield as an overall solution, looks at Palo Alto as a single platform, and then these unique tool sets to work cohesively to give a single output to the customer. That is the second part of it, right? But the third step is all about, the world is talking about autonomous SOC. Today, autonomous SOC, first step is starting with how do you automate the threat vectors or the threat intelligence and threat hunting. These are the parameters, because that is directly aiding into the KPI question which you had, Tom. Should we measure based on mean time to detect and respond? If one has to measure on that, bring in AI and intelligence at that particular level, right? So that is the first step which is actually exploding. And that step is exploding from an area which is called as preemptive cyber defense. They call it as PCD. We're all known for acronyms. So this is a PCD is an acronym which actually has come out, right? So Globe is watching about preemptive cyber defense. Pre and post, that is agentic and assistive. How can it work cohesively and make it happen? But it's very interestingly, when you look at agentic AI, I'm giving you a long-winded answer, but it's very, very important because agentic, when you look at the agentic, agents are multiple forms. There are different agents. One is a reactive agent. There's chatbot is also an agent, right? And then the autonomous agent. Autonomous agent is the super intelligent agent, which like a human being can start thinking from the learning, and it can start thinking and taking actions. But look at it, the most reactive agent to the super intelligent agent. So when a consulting or advising company, we design a solution for a SOC journey for a customer, we look at which agents to be deployed rightly and managed as well. Today, Palo is also doing this very beautifully, like AIRS and their agentic AI, the co-pilot which they come out, is also playing a integrated role into this particular journey. So when you look at holistically, if you do the step 1, 2, 3, that is, look at the use cases, pick the ones short-term, low risk. Next one, show an end-to-end framework which can take you into this journey, which is not one stop, it is multiple stops, and take you into this journey with the entire solution set. Last but not the least, design your agentic AI. Step 1, 2, 3 is the way to build the trust with the customer currently today. And classical point, I'll give you a case study. This is one of the largest manufacturing customers based out of Germany. People can think about it and guess about it as well. Along with Palo, we defined their entire SOC And we are into the journey of an AI-powered autonomous SOC with them currently. The most interesting thing is we used Palo SOAR as a platform, as an hyper automation platform currently today. And we are taking them into that particular journey, right? It's a phenomenal work we are doing with this leading manufacturing company. So yes, to answer your question, this is how trust can be built with any customer today.
Very well said. Rashmi, would you care to add any commentary to what Siva has shared?
No, he covered most of it, Tom. Thank you.
I have a question for both of you as we wrap up our conversation here. One, how do managed SOC services fit into this transformation journey? And as you look ahead with the evolving role of the SOC, where are both Palo Alto Networks and Wipro investing? And what are some of the future concerns, solutions that we ought to be talking about before long?
Yeah, so I'll take this question, Siva. While we provide technology, I think managed security services providers or strategic managed services security providers, you heard about uh, Cyber Shield, you heard about Guru platform, which is helping platforms like XIM to be adopted by the customers quickly. While we provide the technology to spot and fix the threats and faster way of unifying the data, as well as using hyper automation, managed services providers like Wipro help collect the right data from the relevant sources, help implement this platform with their best practices, leveraging their platforms like Cyber Shield, Guru, tune the platform and operate it on behalf of the user and behalf of the end user. This helps the organizations or the customer to focus on their businesses, leaving the usual headache largely to managed services providers like Wipro. Now, what is Palo focusing on? While I said we are focusing on technology, I might also, I think I have to emphasize that we are also looking at using AI-powered security platforms across all areas, network, cloud, and security operations. Though this conversation is largely about security operations, but we use precision AI across these platforms to find the threats accurately and respond quickly. We expect our future solution to focus on things like AI-controlled threat hunting, automated incident response, better behavioral analytics, smarter predictions, automated zero trust, and clever security organization so that humans and machines work very closely, with AI handling the complex data and initial threat finding, leaving humans to make big decisions. So as I said that we can't leave everything to machines, everything to the technology, we also need the interventions from humans for taking those big decisions. And I think managed services providers like Wipro has a huge play for making these operations extremely efficient.
Very good. Siva, anything you'd like to add to what Rashmi has just said?
So beautifully said, Rashmi. Let me talk to you about a customer. This is one of the financial customers, leading financial customers here in the US. Their ask is very simple. They wanted to look at an AI-powered autonomous SOC, which you can call it as a next-gen SOC. And when they started to discuss with us, we went through this particular journey in terms of defining and moving forward. Now, it's a classical case where the earlier question, Tom, which you asked about was on trust. It was the similar fashion, right? When we looked at their investments in the tools and technologies which they had, we went through the journey of looking at how to consolidate them. That is first step. Next step was about the operations team in terms of looking at how you can bring in standardization. And the third step was taking them through the AI journey. AI journey had two components. One is about looking at the agentic part of it. Another one is the hyper automation part of it. All together, we stitched this entire solution for them, took them with the guardrails of SOC Guru as a framework and Cyber Shield as the overall delivery arm for it. So any customer who's talking to us is talking about a transformation journey. If you would have spoken to me almost 2 years back and spoken about SOC, SOC had become business as usual at that particular point in time. Today, the industry's biggest transformation is going on with SOC currently as we speak, right? And that is where XSIAM as a platform fits in beautifully well, right? Because it's got its threat intel feeds coming in, it's got its SOAR in terms of intelligence, and then looking at automation part of it. Then it has got, when you look at SASE from Palo Alto as well, tightly integrated. All of these things put along with CyberArk, the identity control. Today, we see a single unified class in terms of looking at overall AI journey for a customer, which needs to be automated continuously. Another thing, customers, when they are talking to us and when we are working with them, the way we work is we build a small team which continuously develops and builds the AI part of it, right? So case in point, an example, on XSIAM alone, we have close to 700 plus use cases library, which we take to a customer. We use it as a jump start when we start working with the customer and then taking it to the next level. On XOR or SOAR as a platform from Palo, we have close to 84 plus playbooks already defined, and more we can keep defining, but gets customized as well. So like this, the number of differentiations which we take to the table, that is how customer looks at Wipro as a consult advice and a managed services solution provider for their entire journey. And that's how we've been working with them. Case in point, another thing is about investments. Palo is doing huge amount of investments, as Rashmi shared. We from Wipro are also investing into various boutique and niche vendors who actually complement this particular area, be it on the area of preemptive cyber defense. And we have invested into a number of technologies like Symbion, which is an agentic AI solution, and then Tuskira, all of them coming cohesively and then working with the customer. So we also invest into it. It's just not on the product sets, but we keep investing in terms of learning, building these frameworks together to show a value to a customer currently today.
Excellent points. Siva, Rashmi, I want to thank you both for your time and insight today.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
John.
Tom. Thanks,
Siva.
Rashmi.
Amazing.
It's a pleasure as always talking to you.
Yeah, the topic has been future-proofing the SOC. You just heard from Siva VRS with Wipro and Rashmi Vikram with Palo Alto Networks for Information Security Media Group. I'm Tom Field. Thank you so much for giving us your time.